Here is something no one tells high achieving women. If burnout was about being tired, you would have fixed it by now because you did rest, you did take leave, you did unplug, and yet here you are, still exhausted, still heavy, still secretly wondering why the life you worked so hard to build feels so hard to live inside. That's not failure, that's a clue. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what your burnout has been trying to tell you. Let me describe a moment I know you recognize. You come back from time off, your inbox is full, your calendar reloads itself like nothing changed. And within hours, sometimes minutes, the tightness in your chest is back. You are functioning. You are competent. You are doing what needs to be done. But internally, there is resistance. A quiet voice that says, I can't keep doing this like this. And then almost immediately, you silence it because you are grateful, because others depend on you, because walking away feels irresponsible. So instead, you ask a different question. What's wrong with me? That question is the problem. Here is the myth that keeps high-achieving women stuck longer than necessary. Burnout means I need more rest. But burnout does not show up in women who do not care. It shows up in women who have been caring too long without being aligned. Rest restores the body. Burnout lives somewhere else entirely. Burnout lives in the space between who you are, who you had to become, and who your life currently requires you to be. You cannot sleep your way out of that. This is where most burnout advice quietly misses the mark. It assumes burnout comes from doing too much. But for women like you, burnout often comes from being too far from yourself. You did not wake up one day disconnected. You adapted. You learned which traits were rewarded, which emotions were inconvenient, which parts of you needed to be professional. You became reliable, capable, low maintenance, and slowly, subtly, you begin performing your life instead of inhabiting it. Burnout is the cost of sustained self-suppression. Here is the core insight most people never name. High-achieving women do not burn out because they are weak. They burn out because they are misaligned for too long without permission to recalibrate. You're not just tired of the work. You are tired of holding emotional complexity without space to process it, making values compromises you never consented to consciously, being celebrated for achievements that no longer feel meaningful. That kind of exhaustion does not respond to a break. It responds to the truth. Let's talk about what actually helps quietly, intelligently, and without blowing up your life. First, internal realignment before external escape. Burnout creates urgency. Align requires clarity. Before you change jobs, industries, and identities, pause. Ask, what version of myself am I still living from? What am I tolerating that past me agreed to, but present me resents? Where am I outgrowing a role I never updated? Burnout often signals evolution, not collapse. Secondly, emotional honesty. Not venting, not spiraling, naming. Most high-achieving women are emotionally aware, but emotionally restrained. You feel everything. You just don't give it language. Burnout eases when you stop asking, how do I manage this? And start asking, what is this protecting me from admitting? And thirdly, career clarity, not career quitting. You do not need to touch your resume. You need to identify which parts of your work drain you because they conflict with your values. Not because you lack capacity. There is a difference between hard work that stretches you and work that erases you. One builds resilience, the other builds resentment. Let me give you a metaphor that makes this click. Think of a character like Miranda Priestley in the Devil Wears Prada movie. Impressive, respected, powerful, but the cost is visible. Burnout is not about ambition, it's about what ambition demands you. Sacrifice without renegotiation. The moment you stop renegotiating your life, burnout starts negotiating for you through your body, your mood, and your motivation. Here is the reframe I want you to hold on to. Burnout is not a verdict. It's information. It's your internal system saying this way of living no longer matches who you are. Not because you failed, but because you grew. And growth always disrupts old structures. So, if you are burnt out, even after rest, hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are high capacity woman whose inner world has outgrown her outer life. And that does not require panic. It requires alignment. You do not need to disappear. You do not need to quit tomorrow. You do not need a dramatic reinvention. You need permission to tell the truth first to yourself. Burnout is not asking you to stop. It is asking you to realign. And when you do, energy returns, clarity returns, peace becomes possible again. Not because life got easier, but because it finally started to fit. If this resonated, sit with it, because burnout is not the end of your ambition. It is the beginning of your self-honesty, and that is where everything meaningful begins. I'll see you on the next one.